Qur'an translation from Ali Ünal. Audio prepared by Respect Graduate School. Verse 33. The evil deeds they committed have now become obvious to them, and what they used to mock God's promised punishment has overwhelmed them. Verse 34. And it will be said, we are oblivious of you today, so do not hope for forgiveness and favor, as you were oblivious of the encounter of this day of yours, and your lasting refuge will be the fire, and you have no helpers. Verse 35. That is because you used to take all the signs and revelations of God in mockery, and the life of the world deluded you. And so this day they will not be taken out of it, the fire, and no plea will be accepted from them to return to the world, and so they can no longer make amends. Verse 36. And all praise and gratitude are for God, the Lord of the heavens and the Lord of the earth, the Lord of the worlds. Verse 37. And to him belongs grandeur and sovereignty in the heavens and the earth, and he is the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-wise. Surah 46. Al-Ahqaf, the Sandhills. Verse 1. Ha. Mim. Verse 2. This is the book being sent down in parts from God, the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-wise. Verse 3. We have not created the heavens and the earth and all that is between them save with truth, for meaningful purposes and on solid foundations of truth, and for an appointed term. But those who disbelieve turn away from that day of judgment, about which they are warned. Verse 4. Say, do you not consider what those are whom you deify and invoke apart from God? Show me what they have created of the earth. Or do they have a share in the creation and maintenance of the heavens? Bring me a book, revealed, before this one, the Qur'an, or some remnant of knowledge, accurately preserved and transmitted, if you are truthful in your claims. Verse 5. Who is more astray than one who invokes, apart from God, such as will not make any answer to him until the day of resurrection, and are, self-evidently, unconscious and heedless of their invocation? Verse 6. When all people are raised from the dead and gathered together for judgment, they, whom they invoked, will be enemies to them, and will disown their worshiping them. Verse 7. When our revelations, clear as evidence, and in meaning are recited and conveyed to them, those who disbelieve say of the truth when it reaches them, this is clearly nothing but sorcery. Verse 8. Or do they say, he, the messenger, has fabricated it, the Qur'an? Say, if I have fabricated it, you have no power at all to help me against God. He knows best all that you are busy inventing concerning it, the Qur'an. He suffices for a witness between me and you. He is the all-forgiving, the all-compassionate. Verse 9. I am no novelty, either in my person or in the message I have brought, among the messengers. And, being human, I do not know, unless God informs me, what will happen in the future, in the world, and therefore what will be done to me and to you. I only follow what is revealed to me, and I am only a plain warner. Verse 10. Say, do you ever consider that if this Qur'an is from God, and you disbelieve in it while many, a witness from among the children of Israel, those who had knowledge of revelation, had already testified to the like of it and also believed, whereas you are too arrogant to believe? Is this not plain deviation and wrong? Surely God does not guide the wrongdoing people. Verse 11. Those who disbelieve say of those who believe as another pretext for their rejection of faith in the Qur'an. If it, the Qur'an, had been something good and useful, those people would not have preceded us in accepting it. And as they, having refused it, have not found guidance through it, they say, This is a fabrication from ancient times. Verse 12. They say so despite the fact that before this, there was the book of Moses as a guide and mercy for the children of Israel. And this, Qur'an, is a book confirming the truth in the earlier scriptures and revealed in Arabic to warn those who commit wrong, and as a good tiding for those devoted to doing good, aware that God is seeing them. Verse 13. Surely those who profess, "Our Lord is God," and then follow the straight path in their belief, thought, and actions, they will have no fear, nor will they grieve. Verse 14. They are the companions of paradise, abiding therein as a reward for what they used to do. Verse 15. Now, among the good deeds, we have enjoined on human is the best treatment towards his parents. His mother bore him in pain, and in pain did she give him birth. The bearing of him and suckling of him until weaned is 30 months, until when he has reached his full manhood and reached 40 years of age, he says, "My Lord, arouse me that I may be thankful for all your favors, life, health, sustenance, faith, and submission, and more, that you have bestowed on me and on my parents, and that I may do good, righteous deeds with which you will be pleased, and grant me righteous offspring, so that they treat me righteously, as I treat my parents. I have turned to you, and I am one of those who have submitted to you." Verse 16. Those are they from whom we will accept their good deeds in a manner to reward them in accordance with the best of what they ever did, and whose evil deeds we will overlook and include them among the companions of paradise. This is a true promise which they have been given here in the world. Verse 17. But there is many a one who says to his parents, who call him to righteousness and faith, "Ugh to you both! I am fed up with you. Do you threaten me that I will be brought forth from the dead to a new life and judgment, while so many generations have passed away before me, and so far not a single person has been raised?" And they both pray to God for help in the guidance of their child, and say to him, "Woe to you! Believe. God's promise is certainly true." But he says, "All this is nothing but fables of the ancients." Verse 18. Such are they upon whom the word of God's punishment is rightly due as included among the similar communities of jinn and humankind before them. Surely they are the ones ruined in loss. Verse 19. For all individuals and groups, there will be degrees of their own according to what they have done, and so God will pay them fully for their deeds, and they will not be wronged. Verse 20. On that day, those who disbelieve will be brought to the fire, and they will be told, "You consumed in your worldly life your share of pure, wholesome things, and enjoyed them fully, without considering the due of the hereafter, and so have taken in the world the reward of all your good deeds. So this day, you are recompensed with the punishment of abasement, because of your scornful arrogance on the earth against all right, and because of your transgressing the bounds set by God." Verse 21. Make mention of Hud, the brother of Ad. He warned his people in Al-Ahqaf, as indeed warners came and went before and after him to warn their peoples, saying, "Worship none but God alone. I surely fear for you the punishment of an awesome day." Verse 22. They said, "Have you come to us to turn us away from our deities? If you are truthful in your claims, then bring us what you are threatening us with." Verse 23. He said, "The knowledge of when it will come is only with God. I convey to you that with which I have been sent as a messenger, but I see you are a people acting ignorantly." Verse 24. Then, as the events unfolded, They saw that, which they were threatened with, as a dense cloud in the sky advancing towards their valleys, and they said, "This is a cloud bringing us rain." No, it is what you have derisively asked to be hastened, a wind bearing a painful punishment. Verse 25. Bound to devastate everything by the command of its Lord. And so they became such that nothing was to be seen except their dwellings. Thus do we recompense the guilty people committed to accumulating sin. Verse 26. We had assuredly given them such power and prosperity on the earth that we have not given to you, O Quraysh, and we had endowed them with hearing and eyes and hearts, all the means of perception, outward and inward. But neither their ears, nor their eyes, nor their hearts availed them anything, as they obstinately rejected God's signs and revelations, and what they used to mock overwhelmed them. Verse 27. We have assuredly destroyed many townships that are around you, and, before that, we had set out the signs and revelations in diverse ways, so that they might turn back from their wrong ways. Verse 28. So, why did those whom they took for deities, apart from God, as a means of nearness to God, not help them against God's punishment? Rather, they failed them. That was the end result of their falsehood and all that they used to fabricate of slanders against God. Verse 29. We directed a company of jinn towards you in order that they might listen to the Qur'an while you were reciting of it. When they were present for it, they said to one another, "Be silent and listen." When the recitation finished, they returned to their community as warners. Verse 30. They said, "O our people, we have listened to a book which has been sent after Moses, confirming the divine origin of and the truths that are still contained by the revelations prior to it. It guides towards the truth and towards a straight road in all matters." Verse 31. O our people, respond affirmatively to him who calls to God and believe in him. God will forgive you your sins, which you have committed so far, and save you from a painful punishment. Verse 32. Whoever does not respond affirmatively to him who calls to God, he cannot frustrate God's will on the earth, and no guardian will he have apart from God once God has disowned him. Those who seek to do so are in obvious error. Verse 33. Have they, the unbelievers, not considered that surely God, who has created the heavens and the earth, and never wearied with their creation, is able to bring the dead to life? Certainly he is. He has full power over everything. Verse 34. On the day when those who disbelieve are brought to the fire, they will be asked, "Is this not true?" They will say, "Yes, most certainly by our Lord." He, God, will say, "Taste the punishment in which you used to disbelieve." Verse 35. So, be patient, O messenger, with their rejection of faith and with whatever they do, just as those of greatest steadfastness and resolution among the messengers were patient, and do not seek to hasten the judgment on them. The day when they see what they are threatened with, they will feel as if they had not stayed in the world, save a short while of the day only. The message has been conveyed. Will, then, any be destroyed save the people who transgress the bounds in belief and action? Surah 47, Muhammad, verse 1. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way, God will render all their deeds vain. Verse 2. While those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, who believe in what has been sent on Muhammad, and it is the truth from their Lord, he will blot out from them their evil deeds which will otherwise prevent their achievement of their goals in both worlds, and set their hearts fully aright, and improve their conditions, both in this world and the next. Verse 3. That is because those who disbelieve follow falsehood in their beliefs, thoughts, and actions, while those who believe follow the truth from their Lord. Thus, God expounds to people what they are like. Verse 4. So, when you meet those who disbelieve in war, smite at their necks without giving them opportunity to defeat you. At length, when you have sufficiently suppressed them without continuing fighting, bind a firm bond of captivity on them. Then, set them free either as a favor, without demanding anything in return, or for ransom, which may consist of a reciprocal exchange of prisoners of war, so that warfare may abandon weapons and come to an end. That is God's command. Had God so willed, he would certainly exact retribution from them himself. But he orders you to fight in order to try you by means of one another. As for those who are killed in God's cause, he will never render their deeds vain. Verse 5. Rather, he will guide them to the realization of their goal in both worlds, and set their conditions right for them. Verse 6. And he will admit them into paradise that he has made known to them. Verse 7. O you who believe, if you help God's cause by striving in his cause, he will help you and make your feet firm, so that you are steadfast in his cause and ultimately victorious. Verse 8. But those who disbelieve, collapse and perdition are their lot, and he will render all their deeds vain. Verse 9. This is because they are averse to that which God has sent down, and so he causes their deeds to go to waste. Verse 10. Have they not traveled about the earth and seen how the outcome was for those who came before them and persisted in associating partners with him and in all kinds of transgression? God brought utter devastation upon them, and the unbelievers now, the like of their fate awaits. Verse 11. This is because God surely is the guardian of those who believe, but those who disbelieve have no guardian, acceptable in God's sight, and who can help them against him. Verse 12. God will admit those who believe and do good, righteous deeds into gardens, through which rivers flow. As for those who disbelieve, they take their enjoyment and consume God's bounties, just as cattle consume, without considering who has given them to them, and what they are expected to do in return, and with no sense of the life to come. And the fire will be their dwelling, fitting for them. Verse 13. How many a township there has been, greater in power and more abundant in wealth, than your township, which has driven you out, O messenger. We destroyed them, and they had no helper against us. Verse 14. Is then the one who is standing upon a clear evidence from his Lord, like him whose evil deeds are decked out to be appealing to him, and those who follow their lusts and fancies? Verse 15. A likeness of paradise which the God-revering pious are promised is this. In it are rivers of water incorruptible in taste, smell, and color, and rivers of milk whose taste never changes, and rivers of wine delicious for the drinkers, and rivers of pure, clear honey. And in it there are also fruits of every kind for them, as well as forgiveness from their Lord, to bring unforeseen blessings. Are those who will enjoy all this, like those who will abide in the fire and be given boiling water to drink, so that it rends their bowels? Verse 16. Among them, the people of Medina, are some who give ear to you, but when they go out from your presence, they ask, with arrogance and derision, those who have been given some knowledge of the truths of the religion, what has he said just now? Those are they whose hearts God has sealed and who follow their lusts and fancies. Verse 17. As for those who have accepted God's guidance, He strengthens them in guidance through deeper knowledge and submission, and gives them piety and protection from sinning. Verse 18. Do they, who persist in unbelief and evil deeds, wait but for the last hour, waiting that it come upon them all of a sudden? Now indeed its portents have already come. But how can it benefit them to take admonition when the last hour has already come upon them? Verse 19. Then know, bear in mind, that there is no deity but God, and ask forgiveness for your lapses, and for the believing men and believing women. God knows from which inner state and social condition to which state and condition you do and will move, and in which state and condition you will be steady. Verse 20. Those who believe look forward to a new surah conveying knowledge of divine truths and God's new commandments being sent down, and say, if only a new surah were sent down. But when a decisive surah has been sent down, in which fighting is mentioned clearly as a commanded duty, you see those in whose hearts there is sickness looking at you with a look of one swooning to death. That is, in fact, what is expected of them. Verse 21. Whereas, what true believers are expected to do in response to any divine order. Obedience and a proper word. So, if they were true to God when the command has been resolved upon, and it calls them to do what their pledge to God requires them, it would certainly be good for them. Verse 22. But is it to be expected of you, O hypocritical ones, that you will break your promise and turn away from God's commandments, and cause disorder and corruption in the land, and sever the ties of kinship? Verse 23. Such are they whom God has cursed, excluded from His mercy, and so He has made them deaf and blinded their eyes to the truth. Verse 24. Do they not meditate earnestly on the Qur'an, or are there locks on the hearts that are particular to them, so that they are as if deaf and blind and incapable of understanding the truth? Verse 25. Surely those who have turned back as apostates after God's guidance has become clear to them, Satan has seduced them. He has implanted in them long-term worldly ambitions. Verse 26. This is because they have said to those who are averse to what God has sent down, we will obey you in some issues. God knows their secrets. Verse 27. So, how will it be when the angels take their souls at death, striking their faces and their backs? Verse 28. This is because they have followed what incurs God's wrath, condemnation, and are averse to what pleases Him, and so He has caused all their previous good deeds to go to waste. Verse 29. Or do those in whose hearts is sickness think that God will not bring to light their spite against the divine religion and its followers? Verse 30. Had we so willed, we would have shown them to you, and you would have known them by their marks, visible on their faces. But you certainly know them by the false tone and rhythm of their speech. God knows, O humankind, your deeds, and why and how you do them. Verse 31. And we will most certainly try you, so that we may mark out those among you who strive hard in God's cause with their persons and their wealth, and those who are steadfast on His path and patient through adversities, and try your accounts of deeds. Verse 32. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way, and defy the messenger after God's guidance, has become clear to them. They will never be able to harm the cause of God, and He will cause their deeds to go to waste. Verse 33. O you who believe, obey God in all his commandments, and obey the messenger in his execution of God's commandments and in his own directives. And do not let your deeds go to waste. Verse 34. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way, and then die unbelievers, God will never forgive them. Verse 35. So, when in warfare with the enemy, do not be faint of heart and cry out for peace, which will bring you humiliation when you have the upper hand. Always bear in mind that God is with you, and he will never diminish the reward of your good deeds. Verse 36. The present worldly life is nothing but a play and a pastime. If you truly believe and keep from disobedience to him, in reverence for him and piety, he will grant you your rewards, and will not ask of you your wealth. Verse 37. If he should ask it of you and press you to give it, you would covet and withhold, and he would bring out your suppressed resentments. Verse 38. You are surely those called upon to spend of your wealth in God's cause. Yet among you are some who are niggardly. But whoever is niggardly only to the depriving of his own soul. God is the all-wealthy and self-sufficient, absolutely independent of any need, and you are the poor in need of him. If you turn away from true faith and piety, he will substitute in your stead another people. Then they will not be like you. Surah 48. Al-Fath, the victory. Verse 1. We have surely granted you a manifest victory, which is a door to further victories. Verse 2. That God may forgive you, O messenger, your lapses of the past and those to follow, and complete his favor on you, and guide you to steadfastness on a straight path, leading to God's being pleased with you and eternal happiness. Verse 3. And that God may help you to a glorious, mighty achievement. Verse 4. He it is who sent down his gift of inner peace and reassurance into the hearts of the believers, so that they might add faith to their faith. To God belong the hosts of the heavens and the earth, and God is all-knowing, all-wise. Verse 5. And that he may admit the believing men and believing women into gardens, through which rivers flow, therein to abide, and may blot out from them their evil deeds. That is a supreme triumph in God's sight. Verse 6. And that he may punish the hypocritical men and the hypocritical women, and the men and the women who associate partners with God, who always entertain evil thoughts about God. Theirs will be the evil turn of fate. God has destined them to a severe punishment, eternally excluded them from his mercy, and prepared hell for them. How evil a destination to arrive at. Verse 7. To God belong the hosts of the heavens and the earth. God is all-glorious with irresistible might, all-wise. Verse 8. Surely we have sent you as messenger as a witness to the truth of Islam and the falsehood of other ways, and as a witness in both worlds to people's deeds, and as a bearer of glad tidings, of prosperity in return for faith and righteousness, and a warner against the consequences of misguidance. Verse 9. And in order that you, O humankind and jinn, believe in God and his messenger, and support his cause, and hold God in the highest regard, and glorify him in the early morning and in the evening, that is, day and night. Verse 10. Those who swear allegiance to you, O messenger, swear allegiance to God only. God's hand is over their hands. Whoever then breaks his oath only to his own harm, and whoever fulfills what he has covenanted with God, he will grant him a tremendous reward. Verse 11. Those of the Bedouins, dwellers of the desert, who did not respond to your call to participate in the minor pilgrimage campaign and stayed behind, will say to you, by way of excuse. Our possessions and families kept us busy, so ask God for our forgiveness. They speak with their tongues that which is not in their hearts. Say to them, who is there that can intervene on your behalf with God if he wills harm for you or if he wills a benefit for you? Whatever excuse you offer, bear in mind that God is fully aware of all that you do. Verse 12. Indeed, you thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families from the campaign. And this thought was decked out to be appealing in your hearts. And you entertained an evil thought that God would not help the believers and they would be defeated. You, in thinking so, have proved yourselves to be, and you, are a people useless and doomed to perish. Verse 13. Whoever does not believe and trust in God and his messenger, then we have surely prepared a blaze for the unbelievers. Verse 14. To God belongs the sovereignty of the heavens and the earth. He forgives whom he wills and punishes whom he wills. God is all forgiving, all compassionate. Verse 15. When you, O believers, set forth for the campaign during which they think that you are sure to take gains of war, those who stayed behind aforetime will say, let us go with you. They desire to alter God's decree. Say to them, you will by no means come with us. That decision regarding you is what God declared before. Then they will say, rather, you are jealous of us. But the fact is that they are lacking in discernment and understanding, except a very little. Verse 16. Say to those of the dwellers of the desert who stayed behind, soon you will be called to fight against a people of great military power. Then either you will fight against them, or they will submit to God and become Muslims. If you obey, God will grant you a handsome reward. But if you turn away as you turned away before, he will punish you with a painful punishment. Verse 17. There is no blame on the blind, nor any blame on the lame, nor any blame on the sick for staying away from a war in God's cause. Whoever obeys God and his messenger in the religious duties he is charged with and can carry out, God will admit him into gardens through which rivers flow. But whoever turns away, he will punish him with a painful punishment. Verse 18. God was assuredly well pleased with the believers when they swore allegiance to you under the tree. He knew what was in their hearts, of sincere intention and loyalty to God's cause, and therefore he sent down the gift of inner peace and reassurance on them, and rewarded them with a near victory. Verse 19. And much in gains of war that they will take. And God is all glorious with irresistible might, all wise. Verse 20. God has promised you abundant gains of war that you will take later, and these he granted you as present reward for your obedience and purity of intention. And he has restrained the hands of other hostile people from you, so that it may be a sign for the believers concerning the truth of their way and God's promises to them, and that he may guide you to steadfastness on a straight path. Verse 21. And there are yet other gains which you have not been able to acquire, but God has encompassed in his knowledge and power, and will grant you. Surely God has full power over everything. Verse 22. If the unbelievers of Makkah had fought against you, instead of signing the treaty with you at Hudaybiyah, they would certainly have turned their backs in flight. Then they would have found no protecting guardian or helper to rescue them. Verse 23. It is God's way that has continued ever so from the past. You will never find any change in God's way. Verse 24. And he it is who restrained their hands from you, and your hands from them in the valley of Makkah, after he had granted you victory over them. Surely God sees well all that you do, all that. Verse 25. God defeated them because they are the ones who have disbelieved and who barred you from visiting the sacred mosque and prevented the offerings from reaching their destination. And had there not been, in Makkah, believing men and believing women whom you did not know and therefore might have trodden down, and thus something undesired might have afflicted you on their account for what you did unknowingly, God would not have restrained your hands from fighting. But he restrained your hands, so that he might admit to his mercy whom he wills, by sparing the believers in Makkah and enabling many among the Makkans to embrace Islam in time. If they, the believers and unbelievers in Makkah, had been clearly separated, we would certainly have punished those among them who disbelieved with a painful punishment. Verse 26. When those who disbelieved harbored in their hearts fierce zealotry, coming from egotism, tribalism, and feuding, the zealotry particular to the age of ignorance, God sent down his gift of inner peace and reassurance on his messenger and on the believers, and bound them to the word of faith, piety, and reverence for God. They were most worthy of it and entitled to it, and God has full knowledge of everything. Verse 27, God has assuredly confirmed the vision for his messenger as true and will certainly fulfill it. In reality, you will certainly enter the sacred mosque, if God wills, in full security, with your head shaven or your hair cut short, and you will have nothing to fear. But he always knows what you do not know, and therefore, without allowing you to enter the mosque this year, granted you a near victory before this. Verse 28. He it is who has sent his messenger with the divine guidance and the religion of truth, that he may make it prevail over all religions. God suffices for a witness, for the truth of his promise and the mission of his messenger. Verse 29. Muhammad is the messenger of God, and those who are in his company are firm and unyielding against the unbelievers, and compassionate among themselves. You see them, constant in the prayer, bowing down and prostrating, seeking favor with God and his approval and good pleasure. Their marks are on their faces, traced by prostration. This is their description in the Torah and their description in the Gospel. Like a seed that has sprouted its shoot, then it has strengthened it, and then risen firmly on its stem, delighting the sowers with joy and wonder. Thereby, it fills the unbelievers with rage at them, the believers. God has promised all those among them who believe and do good, righteous deeds forgiveness, to bring unforeseen blessings and a tremendous reward. Surah 49, Al-Hujurat, the Apartments, verse 1. O you who believe, do not be forward in the presence of God and his messenger. Keep from disobedience to God in piety and reverence for him, so that you may deserve his protection. Surely God is all-hearing, all-knowing. Verse 2. O you who believe, do not raise your voices above the voice of the prophet, nor speak loudly when addressing him, as you would speak loudly to one another, lest your good deeds go in vain, without your perceiving it. Verse 3. Those who lower their voices in the presence of God's messenger, those are they whose hearts God has tested and proven for piety and reverence for him. For them there is forgiveness to bring unforeseen rewards, and a tremendous reward. Verse 4. Those who call out to you from behind the private apartments which you share with your wives, most of them do not reason and understand, and are therefore lacking in good manners. Verse 5. If, instead of shouting to you to come out to them, they had been patient until you came out to them, it would certainly have been better for them, in respect of the manners due to you from them. However, God is all forgiving, all compassionate, especially toward his believing servants, and may forgive ill manners arising from ignorance. Verse 6. O you who believe, if some transgressor brings you news that requires taking action, verify it carefully before you believe and act upon it, lest you harm a people in ignorance and then become regretful for what you have done. Verse 7. Always bear in mind that God's messenger is among you, so that you have a duty to refer decisions to him. If he were to follow you in many affairs of public concern, you would surely be in trouble and suffer loss. But God has endeared the faith to you, O believers, and made it appealing to your hearts, and he has made unbelief, transgression, and rebellion hateful to you. Those are they who are rightly guided in belief, thought, and action. Verse 8. As a grace from God and a favor. God is all-knowing, all-wise. Verse 9. If two parties of believers fall to fighting, make peace between them and act promptly. But if one of them aggressively encroaches the rights of the other, then fight you all against the aggressive side until they comply with God's decree concerning the matter. If they comply, then make peace between them with justice and be scrupulously equitable. Surely God loves the scrupulously equitable. Verse 10. The believers are but brothers, so make peace between your brothers and keep from disobedience to God in reverence for him and piety, particularly in your duties toward one another as brothers, so that you may be shown mercy, granted a good, virtuous life in the world as individuals and as a community, and eternal happiness in the hereafter. Verse 11. O you who believe, let not some people among you deride another people. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor let some women deride other women. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor defame one another, and provoke the same for yourselves in retaliation. Nor insult one another with nicknames that your brothers and sisters dislike. Evil is using names with vile meaning after those so addressed have accepted the faith. Doing so is like replacing a mark of faith with a mark of transgression. Whoever does that and then does not turn to God in repentance, giving up doing so, those are indeed wrongdoers. Verse 12. O you who believe, avoid much suspicion, for some suspicion is a grave sin, liable to God's punishment. And do not spy on one another, nor backbite against one another. Would any of you love to eat the flesh of his dead brother? You would abhor it. Keep from disobedience to God in reverence for him and piety. Surely God is one who truly returns repentance with liberal forgiveness and additional reward, all compassionate, particularly towards his believing servants. Verse 13. O humankind, surely we have created you from a single pair of male and female, and made you into tribes and families so that you may know one another, and so build mutuality and cooperative relationships, not so that you may take pride in your differences of race or social rank and breed enmities. Surely the noblest, most honorable of you in God's sight is the one best in piety, righteousness, and reverence for God. Surely God is all-knowing, all-aware. Verse 14. Some of the dwellers of the desert say, We believe. Say to them, You have not believed. Rather, you should say, We have submitted to the rule of Islam, for faith has not yet entered into your hearts. But if you obey God and his messenger, he will not hold back anything of the reward of your good deeds. Surely God is all forgiving, all compassionate. Verse 15. Only those are the believers who have truly believed in God as the unique deity, Lord, and sovereign, and believed in his messenger, including all that he has brought from God, then have never since doubted the truth of what they have testified to, and who strive hard with their wealth and persons in God's cause. Those are they who are truthful and honest in their profession of faith. Verse 16. If those desert dwellers still insist on thinking themselves true believers, say, what? Would you teach God how truly you are devoted to your religion, while God knows all that is in the heavens and all that is on the earth? God has full knowledge of everything. Verse 17. They impress it on you as their favor to you that they have submitted to the rule of Islam, and thereby put you under an obligation to them. Say, do not count your being Muslims as a favor to me, nor seek to put me under an obligation. The religion does not belong to me, but to God only. It is indeed God who has conferred a favor upon you, inasmuch as he has shown you the way to faith. If you are truthful in your profession of being Muslims, those who have submitted to God. Verse 18. Surely God knows the unseen of the heavens and the earth, all that is beyond human perception and knowledge in them. And God sees well all that you do. Surah 50. Qaf, verse 1. Qaf. By the Qur'an most sublime. We have indeed, in spite of what they say, sent it to you to warn people that they will be raised from the dead to account for their lives. Verse 2. But they deem it strange that a warner from among them has come to them, and the unbelievers say, this is something strange. Verse 3. When we have died and become dust, you say, we will be raised from the dead. That is a far-fetched return. Verse 4. We know for certain whatever the earth corrodes of them to the most minute particle. With us, there is a book recording and preserving, incorruptibly. Verse 5. Rather, they have denied the truth when it has come to them, and done so willfully and persistently, so they are in a dire state, utterly confused about how to explain their rejection, and about how to prevent the acceptance of others. Verse 6. But do they then never observe the sky above them, to ponder our knowledge and power, and reflect how we have constructed it and adorned it, and that there are no rifts in it? Verse 7. And the earth, we have spread it out, and set therein firm mountains, and caused to grow thereon every lovely pair of vegetation. Verse 8. All this is a means of insight and reminder for every servant of God, willing to turn to him in contrition. Verse 9. And we send down from the sky blessed water, with which we cause to grow gardens and grain to harvest. Verse 10. And tall and stately date palms, with ranged clusters. Verse 11. As provision for the servants. And we revive with it a dead land. Even so will the dead be raised and come forth from their graves. Verse 12. Before them the people of Noah denied, and the companions of Arras and the Thamud. Verse 13. And the Ad and the Pharaoh, and the people among whom Lot was sent as messenger. Verse 14. And the companions of Al-Akah, and the people of Tubba. Every one of them denied the messengers, and my threat was duly fulfilled. Verse 15. What? Did we show failure and weariness in the first creation, that we will not be able to repeat creation after its destruction? Rather, knowing that it could never be so, they are in a tangle of thought and argument about a new creation after destruction of the old. Verse 16. Assuredly, it is we who have created human, and we know what suggestions his soul makes to him. We are nearer to him than his jugular vein. Verse 17. Remember that the two recording angels, appointed to record his speech and deeds, seated on the right and on the left, receive and record. Verse 18. Not a word does he utter, but there is a watcher by him, ever present. Verse 19. And the stupor of death comes in truth, being the established decree of God for life. That is, O human, what you were trying to escape. Verse 20. And, in time, the trumpet will be blown. That is the day when God's threat will be fulfilled. Verse 21. And every person will come before the Supreme Court with one angel driving, and one angel bearing witness. Verse 22. Indeed, you were in heedlessness of this, and now we have removed from you your veil, so your sight today is sharp. Verse 23. And the witnessing angel, who accompanies him, says, This is his record that I keep ready with me. Verse 24. The sentence is pronounced, You too, throw into hell everyone persistent in unbelief, obstinate in rejecting the truth. Verse 25. Who impedes the doing of good, preventing himself and others, and who exceeds all bounds of right and decency, and who is lost in doubts and implants doubts in others. Verse 26. Who sets up another deity beside God, so cast him into the severe punishment. Verse 27. His companion, the devil who accompanied him in the world and seduced him into evil, will say, Our Lord, I did not cause him to rebel and transgress, but he himself was far astray. Verse 28. God will say, Do not dispute with each other in my presence. I had warned you of this day before. Verse 29. And the decree from me will not be changed, and I am in no wise one who wrongs my servants. Verse 30. On that day, we will say to hell, Are you filled to the full? And it will say, Are there yet more to come? Verse 31. And paradise will be brought near for the God-revering pious. Not any longer is it far. Verse 32. This is what was promised for you, for everyone who is penitent, careful in keeping his duties to God. Verse 33. Everyone who stood in awe of the All-Merciful, though unseen beyond their perception, and has come with a heart contrite and devout. Verse 34. Now enter it in peace, secure from any trouble or distress. That is the day of immortality. Verse 35. Therein will be for them everything that they desire, and in our presence there is yet more. Verse 36. How many a generation we have destroyed before them, who were mightier than these in prowess, and overran other lands. But was there any place of escape for them when God's punishment became due? Is there ever? Verse 37. Surely in that is a warning reminder for anyone who has a heart that is truly alive, and who gives ear to the one conveying this reminder, with eyes able to see well. Verse 38. We assuredly created the heavens and the earth, and all that is between them in 6 days, and nothing of fatigue touched us. Verse 39. So, with confident reliance on our promise and power, bear with patience whatever they say, and glorify your Lord with his praise before the rising of the sun and before its setting. Verse 40. And during some part of the night too, glorify him, and after the prostrations. Verse 41. And wait with ears able to hear, for the day when the caller will call out from a place near. Verse 42. The day when they will hear the blast in truth, as a predetermined decree of God that must happen. That is the day of the coming forth, when the dead will be raised from their graves. Verse 43. Surely it is we who give life and cause to die, and to us is the homecoming. Verse 44. That day, the earth will be rent asunder away from them, and they, hurrying out of it, will come to the gathering. That will be a gathering easy for us. Verse 45. We know best whatever they say, and you, O messenger, are not one to compel them to faith. So remind and warn by the Qur'an him who fears my threat. Surah 51. Ad-Dariyat, the scatterers. Verse 1. By those that, like winds, scatter far and wide. Verse 2. And those that, like clouds, bear heavy burdens. Verse 3. And those, like ships, that run with gentle ease. Verse 4. And those angels, who distribute by command of God his provision of rain and innumerable other blessings. Verse 5. What you are promised is most certainly true. Verse 6. The last judgment is bound to take place. Verse 7. By the heaven full of braided pathways, for the movement of angels and celestial objects, for the sending down of God's commands, and for the assent of the diverse supplications of conscious beings by speech or act or need. Verse 8. Surely you are in contradicting views about the Qur'an and how to describe it. Verse 9. Whoever has been deluded from it, the Qur'an, is, first, self-deluded, turning away from the right way in thought, belief, and action. Verse 10. Be away from God's mercy, the liars building on conjecture. Verse 11. Who are quite heedless of truth, in an abyss of ignorance. Verse 12. They ask, when is the day of judgment? Verse 13. The day when they will be tormented over the fire. Verse 14. Taste your torment that you have brought upon yourselves. This is what you, in mockery, would ask to be hastened. Verse 15. As for the God-revering pious, they will be in gardens and springs. Verse 16. Taking whatever their Lord grants them. For they were before that, devoted to doing God's commands, aware that God was seeing them. Verse 17. They used to sleep but little by night, almost never missing the tahajjud prayer. Verse 18. And in the hour of early dawn, they would implore God's forgiveness. Verse 19. And in their wealth, the poor, who had to beg, and the destitute, who did not beg out of shame, had due share, a right they gladly honored. Verse 20. On the earth there are clear signs of God's oneness as Lord and Sovereign, for those who seek certainty. Verse 21. And also in your own selves. Will you then not see the truth? Verse 22. And in the heaven there is your provision, and what you are promised. Verse 23. Then, by the Lord of the heaven and the earth, this promise is as much a fact conveyed to you as that you speak. Verse 24. Has there come to you report of Abraham's honored guests? Verse 25. They presented themselves before him and bade him peace. He said in returning their greeting, peace, and thought, a people unknown. Verse 26. He withdrew to his household and brought a roast of fatted calf. Verse 27. He placed it before them and said, will you not eat? Verse 28. When he saw that they did not eat, he became apprehensive of them. They said, do not be apprehensive. They gave him the glad tidings of the birth of a son to be endowed with profound knowledge. Verse 29. Then his wife came forward, groaning, and struck her forehead, saying, how shall I bear a child, being a barren old woman? Verse 30. They said, thus has your Lord decreed. Surely he is the all-wise, the all-knowing,